Welcome everybody, this is Verdict from the Classic Pally. The date is 16th of September 2019. We're almost 1 month, like 10 days short from 1 month of Classic WoW release, and I'm level 60. The majority of the players are really high right now on levels, and I wanted to make a really interesting video, like a brief like catch up with me. What am I doing? How am I doing it? And why I'm doing it? So I've been level 60 for the past week. I think week and a half, something like that. It took like maybe 12 days, I think, or 11 days IRL time just to get to level 60. So yeah, I'm level 60. I'm almost done. Almost done. Just need a little bit of a push right there to be 100% full best in slot pre-raid, and I'm here to show you what I've managed to pull off with this. Now, this is a retribution paladin, keep in mind. So no matter what you do, you will always underperform until pretty much AQ comes out, until you get all of your gear. So pretty much until you start entering Naxxramas, you will not be performing anywhere too viable. So this spec is kind of for completionists. It's kind of for people who like to be dedicated towards a thing. They like to research. They like to play this. So if you're really new to this, you need to be patient. You need to understand that you will be bullied because you're a red. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's just get into it. Now, before we even start with everything, I need to talk to you about really phase one itself. Now, there are a few interesting loot tables that have been going around everywhere. So, for example, Hand of Justice dropping from General Angerforge in Blackrock Depths. Phase 5 loot being available in Phase 1 for some reason. And just what I've managed to pull with it. Now, let's just get into it. What my idea right now with this build is to draw a comparison between what private server content gave for us paladins and compared to what really classic gave us. Now, keep in mind that in private servers, in private servers like Retribution Paladins were kind of doing a lot better than what they're doing right now, but that's because there are a few pieces that are far too vital, a few effects that aren't working as they are working on private servers, and I'm not entirely sure if that's the way they are supposed to work, but for now, until I research enough, I do not wish to really speak on those topics. So let's get into my gear kind of briefly. Now, my right side of the gear is pretty standard, so I'll just start from the left side. Now let's just start with my helm. Now, Crown of Tyranny is pretty much the third best in slot option, arguably the second best in slot option, excuse me. Before Lionheart Helm, keep in mind I almost have the gold for the Lionheart Helm. I just need to find a person who would not just kill me with the tip, man. And yeah, Crown of Tyranny is arguably the best until Lionheart Helm. You can choose with whichever. You can go for Eye of Rent, 13 strength 2 crit, or just go with 40 attack per 1 crit. Regardless of both of those choices, it should be performing next to the same. Now, let's get into my necklace. Mark of Forging, that's just general. Everybody uses that. Best in slot until Nixia necklace from the head quest. So yeah, let's move down. Earth's Shoulders is the first thing that I really wish to stop on. Now, in private content, this was released in Phase 5 with the Naxxramas patch. Now, Blizzard have made an announcement. It was in BlizzCon 2018, and what they said was that they will release like the Phase 5 content in Phase 4 with a few exceptions, items that are not really giving players a lot of strengths or next to irrelevant, so, it could be a little bit fair. Now, Earth's Shoulders, really interesting why they didn't just take this away from Paladins, because those shoulders are kind of best in slot until Judgment. And here is why. Now, whenever you're playing a Paladin in a pre-raid scenario, you need to understand a few things. That intelligence is so important for you that if you can pick intelligence with strength and crit on one item, then you should do that. With a few exceptions, of course, I'm going to get that in a really small bit. Now, Earth's Shoulders, so good, in fact, that, best of all until Tar 2, man. Some players like to go in Blackwing Cleric with Drake Talons, which is also fine. It's pretty much based on your playstyle. Both of those reds kind of play evenly, so pretty much playstyle defines. In my opinion, though, Tar 2 said 5 piece is kind of a really important thing, man. Intelligence with spell damage keeps you up it's good. It's a sustained way to play red. So let's go into my cape. My cape is the only piece. I mean, sorry, my cape and my chest are the only pieces inside my character that are kind of not performing as I really want them to perform. Now, Black Veil Cape is the second best in slot option till Cape of the Black Baron, which of course drops from Stratholm on Dead Last Boss, but that thing drops as rare as his mount, so I haven't really gotten the chance to loot it. But I lost a couple of them to Warriors and Rogues and Hunters, so, tough luck. Now, when it comes to me enchanting pre-raid gear, I kind of want to enchant only best pieces that I know that they will stay for a long while. So, let's just move towards my chest. Death Dealer's Breastplate is the second option, or a third option, depends on the tombstone or whatever you kind of wish to go with, compared to the Savage Gladiator Chain from Blackrock Depths. Now, keep in mind, I haven't seen that thing drop for a single time, and I've done like maybe 30 runs of Blackrock Depths, full runs, by the way, of Blackrock Depths. And until I get that, I'm kind of stuck with Death Dealer's Breastplate for now. Now, let's talk about my bracers. Shout out to my Guilty Bar, by the way. I've kind of made it. It's holy shit, that thing's sweet. So, Van Bracers of the Saddest are best in slot pre-raid. There's nothing better than it. I wanted to put a +9 strength enchant on him, but I just cannot find a single enchanter with it, man. Like, everything is a little bit tough right now. Fighting enchanters with good recipes, man, that's a tough one. I make sure to tip them good. So let's get into my gloves. Now, Gargoyle Slashers. Remember what I told you, that you kind of need a good amount of intelligence. You need everything just to sustain yourself. Well, the argument behind Gargoyle Slashers compared to Bloodmail gloves are kind of that Gargoyle just give better stats, man. It's just a little bit better strength. You get a little bit better agility. I kind of decided to take those instead of farming the Bloodmail. Now, of course, you can get the Bloodmail glove. Let me just open that really quick for you while I'm speaking. You could get the Bloodmail gloves, but you need to understand that it's hard. It's kind of hard. So those are the Bloodmail gloves. 1% crit, 9 strength. You get 1% strength on top. You get 5 agility, and you get 10 intelligence. Now, yes, you can go Bloodmail. It's next to irrelevant, but you need to understand one thing, that as a Paladin, the very first stat on top of everything is critical strike rating. So if I could get 0.25 crit, I will take them. Trust and believe. So Gargoyle Slashers is my personal choice for gear. Now, Almog's Girth Restrainer is lower Blackrock Spar, Bijou Quest Chain. It's really quick. It just takes like an hour to do. Just go to it. Best slot period. There's nothing better up until Onslaught Belt, but we do not mention that over here on this YouTube channel because every word just starts to trigger. So the next thing, Leggings of the Ursa, best in slot period until you can get a Cloud Keeper. I haven't managed to see a single piece of those pants, and the moment I see them, I'm just going to instantaneously buy them. Like Cloud Keepers with Lionheart Helm are my next two huge upgrades, by the way, and I'm just trying to snipe them from somebody. Now, when it comes to my boots, Bloodmail boots are best in slot period. Arguably, there is nothing better than those up until Blackwing Claire, so you will keep this for a long time. Keep in mind, I got I got those boots like a few hours ago, and I haven't found an enchanter who can really give me a 5 agility because I started this early in the morning, and until they log, I'm stuck with that. But anyways, when it comes to rings and trinkets, everything is standard, man. Magni's Will, Blackstone Ring, Blackhand's Breath, and Hand of Justice. Like, it's pretty much everything standard. However, let me talk about Hand of Justice really quick and Retribution Paladin in general. Now, Hand of Justice is kind of the best trinket if it procs and you get lucky with your proc. Let me tell you what get lucky with your proc means for a Paladin. Now, Hand of Justice is an interesting thing because the proc of it can actually proc your Seal of Command effect, which is really nice. I've had this happen to me already, and it's really fun when it happens, trust and believe. So, Hand of Justice is the best trinket if you could get a proc from it with Seal of Command. Now, the next trinket that I would actually prefer using, and I really mean it, but this is only in raid environments, not in outside world content, not in dungeons, is this bad boy, Gnomish Battle Chicken. Yes, I have prepared. I've opened the tab for it. Gnomish Battle Chicken. Now, when you look at that thing, whenever it enrages, it deals like 50 damage per swing. It's really nice, but you don't take it for 50 damage per swing, you take it for something else. Now, the hidden effect of this chicken is that it squawks and it gives you 5% haste. Now, Hand of Justice is essentially 2% haste because it's 2% of your attacks, which means that you should be getting essentially around 2% haste for a really long period of auto attacking. Now, that's really interesting because unless Hand of Justice procs with your Seal of Command and it doesn't just flat deal an auto, in a boss environment, Gnomish Battle Chicken should perform better. It's not just for you, it's for your raid environment. So, if you're a Paladin who really struggles with finding somebody to take him under his wing inside a raid group, show them that Battle Chicken and show them this particular video. They'll love it, by the way. So, Gnomish Battle Chicken compared to Hand of Justice, your call. I have them both. It's just in my bank. I have made one already. So, get that thing. The next one is Gnomish Death Ray, so you should aim for that too. Gnomish Death Ray is amazing. I still haven't got the engineering skill for it, but Gnomish Death Ray, best in slot pre-raid, like throughout any trinkets out there, because that thing deals 1.7k, I'll have you know, and it just goes up from there. I will put a link down in the description for the Gnomish Death Ray. You should check it out. Now, when it comes to my weapon choice, so I need to tell you a few things. This weapon choice is really taken under in-depth considerations to what my playstyle is, why it is like this, and I'm going to give an argument about everything. Now, let's talk about the Warblade of Caradaro. This weapon is a reward from the Shallow Man's quest chain, from the guys that start the entire chain outside of the dungeon after you talk to them. You get to kill Jandis, you get to kill all of the baddie guys, you get sent into Stormguard. It's a really long quest chain. You get sent to Strata Undead, really big one. Warblade of Caradaro is the reward from it. Now, I was in a Molten Core raid a few days ago, and I need to tell you one thing. Glancing blows are far devastating here in pre-raid scenario compared to what they used to be on the private server platforms, and that is because there was a kind of interesting, how can I say, reaction between glancing blows and the paladins over there. Now, glancing blows, what they are is, 40% of your attacks will not be able to crit, and they will deal 25% less damage if you're attacking a boss target, or essentially a target of level 63 plus. Now, whenever you have Blade of Caradaro, when your attacks glance, keep in mind that Caradaro has a really interesting effect on it, and as you can see, it deals from 1 to 22 frost damage. And this is where the theory crafting really kicked in for me. Now, every swing generates this. There's not a chance for you to not generate it. It's a 100% hit, and the interaction between your auto attack and the small proc is actually interesting, and I will explain to you in a bit. So, every time you swing at Caradaro, from 1 to 22 frost damage is being dealt, but it's added to your weapon swing. It's not added as additional damage, it's added to your weapon swing, which penetrates armor, which actually scales up with Curse of Shadows inside raids, because Curse of Shadows increase frost damage taken by 8%. So essentially you can get up to like 2 damage if you get lucky, which would still, go through, and it will enhance your Seal of Command damage by a little bit. Keep in mind, whenever you're playing a raid, you scrape for every ounce of damage, for every single centimeter of big dickness that you can get. So, Warblade of the Caradaro is a really good sword. Now, let's talk about the enchant that I've used on it. Weapon damage +9 is a good starter for it. Keep in mind, my personal preference for enchanting pre-raid weapons is lifestealing, because it has a small chance to crit. It scales and raids with your Shadow Priest, it scales and raids with your Warlock Curse of Shadows, so lifestealing should be the priority for Warblade of Caradaro, but until I actually find somebody to enchant me with it, I'm kind of stuck with weapon damage +9. Now, when it comes to the weapon speed, though, the 3.3 weapon speed, it's not the best for Seal of Command. Seal of Command has a 40, I believe 41 or 42% chance to proc with 3.3. I should have checked that out, but it's somewhere around that lot. So, it's going to take into consideration the +9 weapon damage, the frost damage proc from it that's being added to your attack to penetrate a bit to deal a good amount of damage, and in general, this is pretty much my choice for pre-raid weapon, and I'm not sure that if I'll ever grind a Demon Shear or an Arcanite Reaper. Keep in mind that I'm not a fan of anything that's not a mace or a sword, and that is because human racial for two-handers is just far too overpowered. Now, when it comes to otherwise overall melee enhancements, this add-on is really cool, by the way. You should download it. It's available in the Twitch client. So, I have 21.61% critical strike rating, which is a good starter. Keep in mind that what I have managed to kind of figure out for myself throughout all the years that I've played Retribution Paladin is that look at your weapon speed, remove the dot to the next number. This is your pre-rate. This is your optimal critical strike rating. So basically, if you have a sword with 3.3 speed, a 33% crit rate should be quite good for you, in fact. So not sure how that really came out to be. I've just always taken that into consideration, and it never really disappointed me. The reason for that is because critical strike effectiveness on your white damage inside raids is not that good when it comes to glancing blows, because after all, glancing blows make 40% of your attack not able to crit. So I managed to pick out that 33% is a good start for end game raiding when it comes to this. So you get inside Molten Core with consumables, 33% should be what you should aim for. So yeah, this is my call on it. I have a little bit of information to back that up, but until I really manage to just formulate it and just to test it and just to put it out, I will not just really talk that much in depth with it. This is my choice of preference, and I choose to do it. So when it comes to my melee hit, it's 5%, 9% is the cap, I know. But, however, whenever you play a paladin with a two-hander weapon and you get into 305 weapon skill, usually the formula is that the first 1% of hit gear gets ignored. So far, with 5% hit, I still haven't missed a single time. Not a single time. So with 5% hit, you should be done. 8% with the talents. We'll get into the talents a little bit later in this video. So yeah, you should do it. Actually, let's just get into the talents right now. Whenever I play my red, I kind of decide to dance my seals around my weapon and to just make the most out of it. Keep in mind that in the raids, I always judge Seal of the Crusader. I've made a spot inside this raid for myself and for my performance to be maximized and to be as optimal as for a red as it could be. So Seal of the Crusader, 100% uptime, keep that thing up all the time. Now, when it comes to Divine Strength, it's the regular choice, but when it comes to the second pretty much level of this tree, red players are kind of divided. It's pretty much your own playstyle. I use improved Seal of Righteousness because I actually use Seal of Righteousness quite often, and by the end of this video I'll explain my rotations, what I do with the red paladin, so you can have a good idea too. I do not like to go Divine Intelligence because that barely gives you 100 mana. You should be getting a lot more sustained damage with improved Seal of Righteousness, plus your judgments will also deal good amounts of damage with it. Now, when it comes to Consecration, of course, that's the regular choice, and I will talk about Consecration a little bit further on. Protection, I go with Redal because I actually tank inside my raids. I know it's really interesting, but whenever you're on Gar, whenever you're in Sulfuron, whenever you're on Luciferon, you could use that extra tank instead of forcing a warrior to equip a shield and lose damage. As a paladin, you need to know you need to be versatile for your raid group as much as you can, although I don't really like healing, but sometimes I should do that too. So I like using Redoubt because it helps you with the survivability. Keep in mind, you get crit a lot inside red environments, so Redoubt really, really, really helps out. So, of course, Precision 3, no need to mention that. Retribution Paladin. Retribution Tree, sorry. Benediction, 15%, it's efficient, it keeps you up with your resources, so take that, 100%. Blessings of Might, 5 out of 5. I will get a little bit about those first two talents. It's your choice. I'm going to give you good feedback on those. So improved Judgment, of course. Improved Crusader, of course. Conviction with Seal of Command. Pursuit of Justice, just take those. Sanctiara, two-handed weapon specialization. Vengeance, no need to talk about those. They're 100% good. I just pressed my place button for no reason. And now let's get into the in-depth of those trees. Usually you have two left skill points that you can choose to pick and put whatever you want. Some paladins like to put them in Unyielding Fate, which reduces fear and disorient effects by additional 5%, which is really good on bosses like Magmadar, bosses like Onyxia, bosses like Nefarian. Every single boss in disorient effect. It's good in Molten Core Trash too for the Core Hounds. So yeah, the Unyielding Fate is definitely a choice that you should never underrate, so I definitely recommend it. When it comes to protection, some paladins go with Guardian's Favor, because whenever you're fighting something with Frost Armor, mobs, PvE, Blessings of Freedom will stay up for longer and you will ignore the attack speed slow. Some paladins like to not even go anywhere of this. Some paladins like to get the small amounts of mana. Maybe some paladins like Lionheart. It's your own preference. Now, I will be respecting for raids with Unyielding Fate 100% just because the damage buff that you get from it, if you manage to just, ignore fear or disorient, is far too good to ignore. Otherwise, I do not take Blessings of Might up to a full. I take 3 out of 5, and I put the Unyielding Fate points inside the Unyielding Fate. You can do this with Benediction, but however, I always have a Paladin in my raids who has improved Blessings of Might. So, outside of me, of course. So, this is about the tree, this is about everything. Now, when it comes to otherwise, what I am aiming for to do right now from here on, pretty much Lionheart's Helm, the first thing that I really want to pick. Then try to get a Cloudkeeper piece. Try to get Savage Gladiator, Cape of the Black Baron, and from then on, it's just consumables and raiding, man. Now, what is the best option for a weapon, really, when it comes to you playing as a ret is, it's kind of simple. It's really the best thing is Sulfurous out there. But the odds of you getting that, not just me, because keep in mind that I am a guild master and a raid leader first, but the odds of you taking that are really low. You need to wait for it to proc. If you invest time and energy into crafting the hammer, and that eye never drops, you'll feel kind of really bad. So when it comes to really getting a good weapon upgrade after the pre-raid Warblade of Caradaro, I would take Obsidian Edge Blade, and let me explain to you why. Obsidian Edge Blade and Caradaro pretty much work the same way in a sense. Caradaro penetrates a small amount of your top end damage with Frost, and Obsidian Edge Blade ignores the Glancing Blow, which is still good. So basically the next upgrade from Caradaro for me is Obsidian Edge Blade. After Obsidian Edge Blade, I am hesitating to say Bone Reaver's Edge. I hesitate because this weapon is only good with 3 stacks for Paladins, and it's only good for auto attacks, which means that if I get this, kind of Earth Slag needs to get rid of. I need to just stop using a lot of my other abilities. Bone Reaver's Edge is an entire different topic that I don't wish to go right now, because whenever you play with Bone Reaver's Edge, sometimes Seal of Command with 3 stacks of it is overperforming everything on your Paladin, and you need far too much crit and far too much strength to make it work. So yeah, Bone Reaver's Edge is a good pick, but otherwise, so for us, just best of slot until Extremis. You don't change that ever. You don't change that until Corrupted Ashy, or if you're a stupid Paladin, Mind of Meditative for some odd reason. I'm not sure why you would play with that, but yeah, man, this is my progress so far. I'm really happy I got to level 60. I've been spamming dungeons like a crazy mother flower. And yeah, what I really wish to do from now on is kind of get my Lionheart, get all those gear. I'm not the type of player and raid leader to steal loot from my warriors. I don't like this at all. So I might be getting sometime in the future a Quick Strike Ring. I might be getting some Tar 2 Pants and Helm from Onyxia and both of... Onyxia and Ragnaros. I would really like to get Flame Guard Gauntlets because those are kind of good for a Paladin. Yeah, man, it's pretty much scraping for loot. Another thing that kind of got me thinking is from where was those? Yeah, from Gehenna's Wrist Guards of Stability. Those are really good. I think I will aim for those sometimes, although warriors are a competition for those. 24 strength is a lot of strength in raid environments. And yeah, this is it from me for now. We've talked about, I think, everything. When it comes to actually, let's just add a really good thing about my seals and what I actually use. Outside of Vengeance, I auto-attack with Seal of Righteousness with Caradaro. It's fast enough and the spell damage is good enough to actually not lose a lot of damage, hoping to get a Seal of Command proc. Whenever my Vengeance procs, I switch to Seal of Command and I judge only with rank 1 Seal of Command in the end of Vengeance so that I could have the slight chance of continuing up. I'm going to give actually right now a really interesting macro. I'm going to display it on the screen. Not really a macro, sorry, an execute kind of rotation for a Paladin, because whenever a Paladin gets an execute, he actually gets a lot of ups. I mean, we start performing quite well, and this is no joke. A Paladin side execute is performing quite well. So what I really like to do is use my Hammer of Wrath. After the Hammer of Wrath hits, drop, use a Seal of the Crusader, twist the second attack after Seal of the Crusader with a Seal of Command, use a Hammer of Wrath again, Judgment, and repeat the entire thing all over. This is for execute phase, so you guys should also do that with me. Now you will see like 1.6k crits of Hammer of Wrath. Those are quite often in raid environments, so yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, that's it from me for now. This is phase 1 catch up with me. What have I done? How I've done it, and what I plan on doing. So yeah, until the next time, guys. Play the reds. Think about micromanagement, microplay, macro play, and share anything you want to share with me. I'll put a link to my stream Discord and my stream everything down in the description. So yeah, peace for now, and I'll make sure to do a new video very soon. Bye bye.